Good evening, everybody. Welcome once again to 3D6 Down the Line. I am your host, John. I am the referee of our game tonight. Going around the horn, once again, we have Mike playing Alfric Berthusel, the magic user. David playing Brother Gwillem, the friar. Matt playing Halifax Swinney, the soon-to-be knight. And Ted playing Argus Dreger, the fighter with a... Oh, no.
That's the cue, man.
Unprepared for class.
You didn't have it ready. 5 cons. He has a 5 con, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't matter that they're all level 3 now. It still has a 5 con. So we are, as most of you know, we are playing Old School Essentials, and we are running through, we're doing a Hexcrawl through the Dolmenwood setting. So we are in episode 14. Some of you may know that last session we actually had unusable footage, so we decided to, we couldn't save it, so we decided to skip it. However, we did play. So there was some stuff that happened, so we just want to give a quick recap before we move on to where we are right now. So last time you viewed an episode, they had escaped from the tomb of Sir Chide, with Sir Chide and his lady love, Princess Snowfall, at dusk, transformed into mortal form thanks to their use of a wish, their selfless use of a wish, and found themselves, after getting a little bit lost, at the refuge of St. Key along the Horseeye Road. What they ended up happening last session is they've discovered that time had passed while they were in Ferry, more than they had anticipated. So they were 4 or 5 days in the future, more than they thought they would be. They ended up traveling back to Prigwort with the happily reunited couple who have now determined to call themselves Chai Thane and Gwendolyn, so that their names won't rouse suspicion. And they returned back to Prigwort. They basically in tow with a lot of treasure. So the question was what to do with all that kind of good stuff. So in general, they went back to the Clashed Antler. They got settled. Elfric went to Mosselmeyer Druge, the consulting wizard. He told them about the portal to Ferry, which they entered within the tomb. And then Mosselmeyer responded by saying that he would, of course, inform the Elevated Council and probably Lady Harrowmore in hopes that they would place troops of some sort as guard on the tomb. That has not happened yet, but that was what Mosselmeyer said that he would do. They all decided to carouse. The only one that actually had to pay a price more than gold was actually Brother Gwillem, who went deeply into debt with the Reverend Liane Smunk, the half-goat vicar of Prigwort. And he also got the penalty that all of his carousing would cost double from now on in Prigwort, because he's now known as the life of the party, so everyone tries to hang out and get free drinks from him whenever he goes out. So that happened to Gwillem. They headed up to Harrowmore Keep there to drop off Gwendolyn and Chai Thane, with the understanding that Chai Thane was going to be accepted as within like the kennels. Basically, he wanted to be with hounds. He always liked hounds back in his former life, and so he accepted service with Lady Harrowmore. And Gwendolyn did as well, with probably the anticipation that she would probably become a lady in waiting. But they are still there. They still can be interacted with, but they are up at Harrowmore Keep now. Other things that were done was there was some magical research done by both Elfric and Gwillem. Elfric researched 2 scrolls and got 2 read magic scrolls. Brother Gwillem actually researched a new prayer. He did a version of Resist Cold, which he's calling St. Abthius' Respite, which is basically a version of the level 1 Resist Cold, except that all it does is it provides 8 hours of protection against cold, but none of the other benefits of that spell, but it just extends the duration. Perfect for wintertime. I believe that is the end of that session, was basically it. Other than that, it was pretty much discussion of what to do with treasure and all that sort of stuff, right? Was there any major points that I missed? Narrative parts?
I didn't end up going into debt because we determined it was a first level spell and therefore didn't have as high a cost. Would be the only thing that was.
Oh, you didn't go into debt from carousing?
No, because we gave him Snell's full share.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, cool. That's good. So at the beginning of last session, they actually were at second level. They had enough experience to actually get to third level, to jump from first to third, which I have never seen before in any D&D game that I played. Had to look up the rules and found out that if you have enough XP to actually gain 2 levels or more, you actually only gain enough to get you 1 point behind that extra level. So they were second level with 1 XP to go. But because they caroused last session while they were second level, they get that XP, and that's their third level. So all of you viewers are rejoining us now where they have leaped from first to third level. So why don't we just go around and give just quick updates about what has changed from first to third, like basically like what your hit point jumps are, maybe your spell capacity, that sort of thing. Let's just go around the horn. Mike first. Alfric.
So I heroically rolled a 4 for my second level hit points plus 1 for my con. So that jumped me up to 9. And then at third level, I heroically rolled a 1 and then added my con. So I have a total of 11 hit points, still rocking that 9 AC. I do have 2 first level spells now, spell slots. But even though I got a second level spell slot for third, I actually don't have any third level spells. And nobody was really willing to, not these guys, but no one in town just had them hanging from a tree. So I have to go out and murder somebody in the woods to go get a second level spell.
But the check.
Who's with me?
Okay, David.
I gained another hit point, 1 whole extra hit point, as well as a second level spell slot, which is wonderful.
But you gained also. You also gained more for your second level, though, right? You went up. You went up to second level last time, which people haven't seen.
Which I rolled for already. Oh yeah.
Right.
So I gained. Gosh, I don't recall actually what I had gained the previous session. That's true.
Well, how many hit points do you have now? Is basically
I think it was 2. I have 6 now. I have 6 total.
6 total with it. Okay, cool.
Argus doesn't look so bad now.
I think it was a 3, and I rolled a 2, and then a 1. So
That's a little squishy for third level. Yeah. Okay, so you have two first levels and 1 second levels. Is your
spell slot?
Yeah, spell slots.
Yeah.
Cool, great. Yeah. All right, Halifax.
All right. So I gained absolutely no spells. Who needs them when you're made of meat?
That's right.
I am a solid chunk of meat now, as I rolled twice for my 2 levels, and am now up at 21 hit points.
Whoa, beefy. Yeah. That's at least a couple hits that you can take.
21-6. 21-6.
Gotta love it.
with that, my full plate and my shield and my helmet feel pretty good.
Now the big thing is that you have the capacity now to actually, or you have the what's the word I'm looking for? You have reached the level at which you can now be knighted.
This is true.
Correct. Third level is when that can happen. So that can be legitimately sought out and asked for, or granted. Right. Okay. Argus.
All right. Well, Argus, being a fighter, doesn't get much for going up in the first couple of levels there. Third level fighter is identical to a first level fighter, except in hit points. I have more than doubled my hit points. Yes, but not, sadly, quite as much as Halifax.
People want numbers.
Oh, those old things. I have 11 of them now.
11.
Yeah. That's 11 hit points.
So you and Alfric are both on equal standing as far as tankiness. That's amazing.
Yeah. But we can definitely, together, we can bond looking down on the Friar and how soft and squidgy he is.
Thank
Yeah,
God.
what's your armor class?
And I have a 19 armor class, so that I got that going for me.
That is pretty nice.
Yeah. The other thing, John, I wanted to add that you didn't mention in your recap is that we spent a lot of time resting in Prigwort.
Yes.
It's actually now the 22nd of Hagrime.
Right, which is...
we were like 3 weeks or something we spent hanging out?
Yes.
2 weeks?
So that's sort of what we're picking up now is sort of what you've done in the downtime since the end of last session. So we've talked offline in order to get a lot of this logistical stuff out of the way. So as Ted said, they have spent a number of weeks now, waiting for the weather to get better, primarily so that Argus can survive out in the wild. So it has. We have
Oh, that's primarily why. I mean,
but they have convalesced for some time, resting on the heaps of jewels that they have taken out of the realm of Phrygia, granted to them by Princess Snowfall at dusk, and it is now dawning on the 22nd of Hagrim, as you can see on the calendar there, Kali. It is the feast of Saint Panard the Lithe, a minor saint, not really celebrated in Prigwort, but nonetheless, in the intervening time, they have spent their money wisely and have outfitted themselves for long-term expeditionary travel. At least that's what the plan is. So I'm certainly people don't need to know like every single item detail, but can we get like an overall picture of how you have outfitted yourself and your troop?
I think this is you, David.
Sure. Yes, we have hired 3 retainers who go by the name of Weevil. Weevil is a fighter.
With strength 9.
With strength 9. Listen. 6 HP, 9 strength, baby.
Yeah. You roll good.
Weevil's name feels appropriate. But has chainmail, a shield, and a hand axe. So, not too shabby. We have Bragan
is how I kind of pictured it.
Bragan, who's a hunter with an intelligence of 8, so sharp fellow.
Female.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
I didn't know. Okay. And leather, short bow, spear. And then our last retainer's name is, it is Pim, who's basically a torch bearer, gear hauler.
Wagon driver.
Wagon driver. In addition to those, we have purchased a wagon, 2 horses to pull said wagon. We've affixed a couple lanterns on that wagon, and we've stocked it full of rations and various adventuring gear that we might need should we go into a dungeon, etc., along with some tents and
So it's replete with a lot of adventuring gear. So
basically,
did you guys decide, or maybe want to decide now, do you want to modify it to be a Vardo wagon? In other words, a walled and roofed wagon.
Yeah, I went ahead and already noted it on the spreadsheet since everybody in the chat seemed to be in for it. So
cool.
I've taken the extra gold off, John, and it's noted.
Protect our paper fighter.
Great. Okay, so it is officially a Vardo wagon. It costs 100 GP more to do that, but this is it's a solid structure because it's not like a a covered wagon from Manifest Destiny sort of stuff. It's like like the Rome or like the Tinkers and Wheel of Time sort of thing, right? It's like a wooden structure that's built into the wagon, so it's like a little home on wheels.
love to see it.
And 2 massive draft horses to pull it, which brings me to my next item I just want to relay to viewers. We did this last session, but the footage was unusable, but we are experimenting with item-based encumbrance, which is in playtest form, which will be released in its final form in Carcass Crawler issue number 3, which is coming out in April, so imminently. It basically is a slot-based encumbrance system that a lot of OSR games use, but it dovetails nicely in with the existing limits on movement rates that OSE already has. So all the characters have adopted that, and in addition, for vehicles and mounts, you basically take the load capacity that is written in OSE for coins, and you divide that number by 100, and that's how many slots or items that they can carry. Some items take up more than 1 slot, depending on how large they are. But just so everyone's aware, the wagon can carry 150 items, which is way more than a human can carry. It's quite a bit. And Ted, what are we looking at as far as like what we're at out of 150 right now?
I think I still have 71 or 81 slots left. So what is that? A good 7,000 or 8,000 coin? He thought optimistically to himself.
Yeah.
We shall find a pile. I can double check here. Let's see. I got 30. 45, 55, 60, about 70 slots left, roughly.
Cool. Yep. All right. So in addition, you guys have Ethel the mule, and you have your riding horses as well. I think they're all okay. Am I wrong about that? There's Biscuit, Mandrake, Turtle, and Truffle.
Everybody got healed up. That was one of the reasons we took so long in Prigwort. That plus my concussion and Alfric's withered, hideously mangled arm.
Yes, those have also been healed.
Also the face.
There's no help in my face, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Argus's jaw is all messed up.
Yeah, does she still pop on it?
Another question. What are you going to do with the magical mirror that you found down in the tomb? You know it's worth quite a bit of money. It also appears to be quite useful in certain situations.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that I just recently realized is that our we have a sense of what happens because we know like which save is being made and stuff. Our characters don't have any idea really what this does other than it does something, right?
Yeah.
Like it tried to put a whammy on Snell. He resisted it. So we don't really know what it does. Like it might kill you. It might
You don't know.
turn you to clone. It might turn you into a chicken. We have no idea.
Snell had an inkling whenever he attempted the save. Like he had a feeling washed over him, but of course Snell is no longer with you. So yeah, you're right. In character, you would have no idea. You just know that there's something up with it. It is not just a plain mirror.
So we should try and test it. We don't have to do it right now, but we should try and test it and see if it has any kind of magical effect. We could do it on a chicken.
It's so funny. I was thinking chicken. You just like hold a chicken up in front of you and see what happens.
If the chicken gets smote,
Poor chicken.
then we have dinner. And if the chicken does not get smote, then we sell it because it's busted or it doesn't work anymore, or the chicken makes a save. If the chicken can make a save versus a magic mirror, it's not a very cool mirror.
Yeah, John, what's a chicken save versus paralysis?
How do you know it's paralysis?
I did have a thought. I did have a thought too late that that mirror might have been a defensive attempt to prevent those who might come through the portal from escaping the land of the Fae, and we have just now removed it.
Well, you know, whatever.
There's that.
Not a huge
Not
deal.
to give John too much ammo, but
do you toss a chicken in front of it?
Yeah, I'm gonna hold a chicken in front of it. Make a save versus barbecue sauce.
Let's see. So you kind of hold the chicken in front, and it just goes. It kind of opens its eyes up wide, and then it goes absolutely rigid in your hands. And you kind of try to put it on the ground, and it just sort of teeters over as if it's sort of like a lawn ornament.
Does it make a clinking sound?
Yeah, clank.
Can we affix that to the hood of our wagon?
I was gonna say, what would be cool, we could whenever we
Once we remove the chicken from the front of the mirror, how long does the effect last?
As far as you can tell, you've been watching for, I don't know, half hour, so it's still a frozen chicken. No,
the whole business.
And this is happening now, or is this happening right after the dungeon? I'm confused.
No, this is happening back in Prigwort. I mean, you have to. There's no.
Yeah, we have a bunch of time to go.
No wild chickens running around.
Horde wizard.
There you have it. So I think we have a good sense of what it does. I don't think we need to do anything with it now. We should probably hide it somewhere safe.
Wait. I'm wrong. This is actually key. So what I'm going to say is we'll retro it and we'll say that so that you weren't experimenting in front of like the public or something like that. You go and nab a chicken at nighttime, and the chicken freezes, and you're waiting. You're like, does anything else happen? And you're like, okay, we'll just go to bed. You wake up the next day, and the chicken is gone. You assume that someone took it, but then you could swear because you picked a chicken that had like a distinguishing mark on it or something like that. You see that chicken running around with its buddies the next day.
Okay.
So after a while, it woke up. So the hypothesis is that it woke up again.
It's like
right?
a temporary
sunrise. These spells, when the sun comes up,
Yeah.
cancel spells.
So if we need a hasty retreat or to trap a thief, we will find it quite useful.
Let's cover that bad boy up and throw it in the back of the wagon.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
What we'll do.
Like we could put it in the back of the wagon, facing the door when we leave. So if anybody opens that door, they'll come in.
The problem is we have to get back in the wagon.
We know the trick, so we can close the door.
You're going to find the hunter frozen solid because they're not going to remember. 8 intelligence.
We can tell. They're smart enough. They're smart enough.
I like your thinking there. Let's at least put it in the back with a sheet for now.
Well,
and then
how many slots is this going to take up? Because this is going to seriously damage our ability to haul piles of coin back.
The mirror will take up 3 slots.
And then we also haven't sold the candlesticks yet either.
But
what?
The candlesticks, the big giant.
We have to restore them.
Yeah, we have not sold them.
Well, okay.
I think we ought to leave this stuff. We ought to find a place like maybe at the Clashed Antler. They can let us, wrap it up and stick it in their cellar. We give them a few coin. If it's wrapped in burlap and they don't look too close, it'll be fine.
Or, well, here's another thing. Like, we don't need to clean the candlesticks. Could we leave the candlesticks with someone to clean them for us?
And the painting.
And the painting.
Okay.
I have to hire like an antiquarian or whatever. Or those Prigworts and loaded with those, and see if they can restore those things and then sell them for us.
Yeah, that way we got storage and we got restoration going on at the same time.
I love it. All right.
Can we work that out offline and just assume for now, John, that we found something to do with it in Prigwort?
Sure. Yep, that's fine. Okay, so you're not taking it with you. Got it.
Unless you guys really want to bring it with, in which case we should do that.
No, let's leave it there.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay, so last thing. Well, okay. So why don't we first? No, we'll go back because you had multiple weeks. So on Kali, which is the specific market day where more interesting goods come into town. They set up in the middle of town, in front of the town hall, is where more interesting stuff comes in. You guys have been discussing about the possibilities of actually hiring like some sort of guard dog or something like that. You are quick to find out on one of those market days, whenever you guys are convalescing, that Dolmenwood has quite a selection of interesting hounds, specific breeds with specific abilities. If you are, and which you discover when the I don't know what you would call them, the dog seller comes into town. So, am I right in assuming that you are interested, or should I just skip it?
No, I think we're interested, right? Like a dog.
Yeah, I mean, Halifax is definitely interested. He has kind of a little like a fanboy kind of fascination with Sir Chide. He's got his sword. He's thinking like, maybe we should look into this dog thing a little bit.
Right on.
There's something to this.
Sad dude. She doesn't like you. Just let it go.
I can get there.
Okay, so there are your normal breeds, right, of dog. But then there are these well, the most normal that they have statted out here, but that you could purchase is a bloodhound. And these are obviously the best at tracking, right? But there's also hounds where, and I'll give you more details if you want to, but you can get one that is like built for guarding. Or you can get one that's built for like attacking. Ones that can mimic human speech, even though they don't know what they're saying. Ones that are terrifying to undead. Ones that can actually smell undead. Ones that can sense fairies. And that looks to be about it as far as like rare and strange breeds.
Those are the coolest dogs ever, man.
Yeah, I would love to have a pack of undead hunting dogs, but maybe we just go with a guard dog for now.
I think that's probably a good starting point.
Agree.
I like the idea of a guard dog that we can leave along with who's ever guarding our wagon for us.
Well, yeah. And the hunter has abilities for that, correct? Yeah.
They can bond with an animal. They can bond with an animal. Yeah.
So we could theoretically, well, no, I guess that's convoluted. Because you want to own the dog, not gift it to.
Yeah, that would be Bregan's dog if you gave it if you wanted that to happen, it would be hers. But if you just want it to be the company's, then you can just have it. Okay, so the guard dog is known as the Langston Mastiff, hailing from that southern town. Huge, bulky beast with thick, shaggy fur and a volatile, vicious temperament. They make excellent and diligent guard dogs, but are notoriously difficult to train. If you want one, they are 50 gold. They are pretty nasty. They have an AC of 12. They have 13 hit points. They do an attack of a bite, which does 1d6 plus 1, plus 2 to attack. They can move at 40. And they have a high morale for a dog, which is 9. Their special ability is that they, if a Langston Mastiff fails a morale check, there's a 2 in 6 chance. This is actually a bad thing. A 2 in 6 chance that it will go wild, attacking anyone who comes near to it, including its owner or trader. This state is permanent, so they're like super nasty, but they have high morale. So they have.
It's hard to get them to fail, but if they fail.
That's some foreshadowing, I would say, of a 5-con incident.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Just compared to the other ones, it is definitely by far the beefiest. It has by far the most hit points.
Does it have more hit points than me?
Pretty serious.
It has 13. 13 hit points. It also has the highest attack roll.
Nice.
I love the idea of a guard dog. I think we might want to consider even two, like a guard dog and a bloodhound, because a lot of the things that we've been like maybe interested in doing are finding people or finding a thing,
Like the bard or the wizard,
right? Like the bard person, we could get some of his stuff. Get the bloodhound after the scent. That
I would say, Matt, pick one of one kind for now, because the other thing is that it sounds like John's dog the guard dog might very well eat the other dog or something.
Well, we can see. Like,
poison, it's just a risk versus reward. It has a very high morale, so it has a low chance of failing that check. It's just if it does fail, it goes south quickly. That's all it is.
Yeah, and the bloodhound we'd want to keep with us because he's going to like guide us. He can help us find our way back to the wagon by following around.
Will bloodhounds enter dungeons, Sean?
Nothing says that any of these dogs wouldn't enter dungeons, but because they're dogs, they're generally going to make morale checks a lot if they're in danger, right? Like, you'd have to get like a war dog in order that would. Like even a Langston Mastiff is not a dog that rides with horses to war. You know what I mean? Into battle. It's built to be a guard dog. It's vicious, but it's not like it's still worried about its own skin.
I don't know.
So
I'm okay getting one of the guard dogs. I don't want to run a kennel. I don't know.
Okay,
that's just me.
So
we got a lot of livestock already.
Let's not debate it too much. Do you want to just vote on it real quick? Do you want to? Is it bloodhound or Langston Mastiff? Bloodhound. Raise your hand.
No.
Oh no.
Okay, Langston Mastiff it is then. All right, 50 gold.
We're only getting one. We'll get the guard dog.
All right,
so that's 50 gold, John.
Yeah, 50 gold. It's a Langston Mastiff. Give it a name when you have a chance.
Do we have to feed it small children or something? Like,
we should find out about like what its daily needs are.
It eats like a human, so it needs a ration a day.
Can we call him Leroy?
Dude.
What? Not Leroy Jenkins, Leroy Brown. Big bad Leroy Brown. Me and the junkyard dog.
Me and the junkyard dog.
That's right.
Guys, I'm going to be right back. Just one second.
Sure.
What do you want to name him, Mike?
Puddles.
Puddles. That's pretty good. I like it. We'll wait till Matt comes back to vote on Puddles.
Smoochy pumpkins.
Give me a kid. Great, man.
Yeah.
Oh, Puddles, your breath smells like rotten meat.
Your breath smells like Argus. Where'd he go? Oh man.
So you got to picture like one of our world's like mastiffs, like huge beasts, but also shaggy fur as well. So it's like I guess visually you can kind of combine a modern day mastiff with like an Irish wolfhound. So that's that sort of shagginess, like big, jowly, dripping, but lots of hair too.
Like a Tibetan mastiff is basically what you're describing.
Is that right? Okay, so there you go.
Yeah, they're pretty. They got a lot of hair.
Cool.
They look sort of like a angry
Black
St.
bear.
Bernards.
Angry Saint Bernard.
Okay, so
All right, I marked that off our company funds, guys.
what I need is I need someone to first. It is Collie. It is the 22nd. I need someone to roll to see if vague occurs. So if you wouldn't mind giving me a D10 roll, please.
Who's doing it?
I'll do
I
it.
got it. I'm there.
Okay.
Oh, it's a cocked die. That's weird.
No vague.
I mean, it says 7, but on my die tray, it looks cocked.
Okay,
No.
so
All right.
roll me a D6, please.
Okay. Boop. 5.
5. Okay. Now roll me 2D6.
Oh my god.
Weather.
Yep.
5.
All right. So on the 22nd, which is the day that you guys determined that you would like to leave, it is a great day for it. For it is a brisk and clear day, which is great.
Awesome.
There you go. So real quick, let's see here. Where is it? Spring in Dolmenwood. So regarded by many as being at its most beautiful in the springtime. Dolmenwood. The cold, dark nights of winter withdraw, and the carpets of soft, sparkling snow melt away to reveal dainty flowers. Spring in Dolmenwood is sunny and clement, and animals and people alike skip gaily through the glades of the wood. So it is a very beautiful time as like the first sprouts come. So this is the first time that you're seeing, well, in game anyways, greenery in the canopy overhead. So it's quite lovely, and everyone seems to be in a better mood. Everything's just sort of smells better, like freshly turned earth and all that sort of good stuff. So it's quite nice.
A marvelous time for traipsing through the woods and looking for treasure.
There you go.
John, real quick, I'm trying to start mapping like ley lines and stuff like that. So I got like this hex map book.
Yep.
Real quick, I got the center one in my map labeled Prigwort. Do you want to give me the numeric delineation for that, just so I can put it on my map, or is that verboten?
No. Well, you mean Prigwort's hex?
Yeah, the Prigwort
Prigwort's hex
number.
is 1106.
1106, and then can you tell me what the ley line feeling is for that? Is it still the whispering undead, or
Yes, the moaning of the dead.
Mike, I don't know if you realize John's posted the hex map in our resources channel.
Yeah, but I'm specifically mapping the ley lines.
Right, I know, but the hex numbers are on that map.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ted.
They're a little hard to read, but yes, they are on there. That map is also the old Wormskin version. So like I said before, it is a little, there are some things that may not be quite accurate, but it is a lot more accurate than the player's map, which is definitely an artistic rendering. Okay, so brisk and clear day for travel. You guys have this amazing looking wagon that you've built out. You're a little bit the talk of the town, not only because of Brother Gwillem's escapades from carousing, but also word spreads that it's sort of like Bilbo Baggins coming back from Erebor, right? Like everyone sort of like hears that you guys had a lot of, you came back wealthy from deep within the woods and you found something, you've been mum about it, but everyone's like, you've been talking to all the merchants and doing all the research at the church and at Mosselmeyer's, and it's like, money's being spent and people are employed, and it's all because of you guys. So rumors are all circulating around about this small little troop of adventurers that came in out of the cold and then weeks later are now kind of made their mark on the town a little bit. And so you've got my point is that you sort of have like a little bit of a crowd, a tiny little crowd to see you off. Everyone sort of notices that you're strapping the draft horses on, you're getting your riding horses saddled. You've got Puddles or Smoochy Pumpkins or whatever his name is. He's barking and yapping and getting ready to go and making the horses nervous, and this big ass wagon that is loaded, right? You got the lanterns on and everything's sort of hanging off like a peddler and that sort of thing, and you're ready to head out there. So what is the plan?
I think we had discussed doing a hex crawl through, I think, 1205, possibly 1206. I don't think it really matters which one we start with, but
it does matter.
I would argue. What?
It does matter because you have a cart. 1206 has a road. 1205 does not.
Right. Well, 1205 has the road to Harrowmore, cuts through it. And what I was going to suggest is if we were to head towards Harrowmore, which no one would think twice about, knowing we've got Halifax with us, we could not actually go to Harrowmore. We just go into the Hex and then start from there. And we don't tell people what we're doing. We just say, well, we're heading up to Harrowmore and leave it at that. And then
we're never seen again.
We're never
drive up a little bit, park, and then go head into the woods.
Basically, that's what I'm suggesting. But the exact same thing could happen going to 1206 towards Brackenwald. We just get off the road somewhere that looks good and start exploring the Hex from there. But that seems to be like a more traveled road. Am I right about that, John? That between Prigwort and Brackenwald, there's more traffic?
Oh, easily. That's the whole side road. That's the most traveled road in the land. And you guys have been up and down it a couple times now.
Yeah. So I feel like if we go towards Harrowmore, we're going to have less road traffic, less encounters. So that would be 1206.
All right. So you're going to head north along the Harrow Road. This is also a road that you guys have. This is also a road that you guys have traveled many times. This is the day trip to Harrowmore Keep, right? So off you go with your 3 retainers and all your horses in tow as you move northwards in the brisk and clear day. Let's see here. So
Matt, while Matt was gone, we talked about naming the dog, but we didn't want to name it without you. Mike suggested Puddles.
I'm sold on Puddles instantly. I heard Puddles.
John said Pumpkin Gucci Face.
No, Puddles.
That's okay.
All right, so we're in Hex 1206.
05.
05?
1205.
This is good. We're gonna do this thing.
I know.
5, 6, 5, 6, 5.
Yeah. Is this what kind of weird sensation am I getting?
So this is an interesting one. As you move north through the Hex where Prigwort is, and you move about 2 miles, slowly joining the feeling, the sense that the moans of the dead, you hear something almost even more disturbing. Joining along with the moaning of the dead, you hear the wailing cries of infants.
Well, that's disturbing.
Yeah, man.
And the wailing cries of infants slowly fade almost seamlessly into the moans of the dead, and then cycle back into the wailing cries, and they just sort of make this endless cycle over and over again between the two.
When am I going to find the ley line that is like, the tweeting of the laughter of children, or
no, this sounds like babies crying off in the distance. I probably should have mentioned this.
Sorry, go ahead.
I probably should have mentioned this because you've traveled along this road before, but we'll just say that because you were moving so quickly along the road in previous times that you didn't really make sense of it, but now that you're kind of moving slowly, you do. This gives you an indication of what may be present, right? You may remember that when you talked to Mosselmeyer Druge on one occasion, that he mentioned that there was only one nodal stone that he himself was aware of, the Gorthstone to the northeast. And you also know that at many of these places where the dolmens actually rise are the confluence of ley lines.
Okay.
I will also
communicated any of.
Sorry, David, go ahead.
I was just going to ask if Alphic has ever communicated these terrible things to us.
No. A, you would probably think I'm crazy. B, your simple minds couldn't comprehend arcane mysteries.
Of course.
It's so aggressive about it.
So when you gibber madly in the night, we just have to assume you're insane.
Dizzying intellect.
Yeah.
Okay, so the deal is with wagons and carts. They can travel along any road or track. Off-road, wagons and carts may only travel through light terrain. They may not enter moderate or severe terrain. So that is most axes in Dolmenwood. There's very few that are light terrain.
Right.
So I understand that you guys are aware of this, of course. You guys are also limited, once again, by the slowest member of your team. The cart itself is probably going to limit you, even if you guys had lighter stuff. The cart can move 12 miles a day, which is basically the equivalent of someone wearing heavy armor and moving through and walking. So, and you are also exploring the hex, which also limits the amount that you can travel in a day. In moderate terrain, which is what you are in, that is 8 miles. So you are limited to 8 miles today, which means that you, even if your goal was Harrow Keep, you would not be able to reach it today.
No,
And I don't think we wanted to go all the way up there. We wanted to go right into the woods, right?
Yeah, I think our SOP, John, is even in the hexes where it's like too thick for us to actually penetrate them with our wagon, is to try and get close, just far enough in off the road so it's not necessarily visible, and then explore the hex on foot from there.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna parallel park the wagon.
Yeah, like if we could find like a clearing or an old bramble thick logging road, whatever, just something that gets us off and out of the road line and into the trees a bit.
Gotcha.
And then work from there, which is why we wanted the dog and someone to stay with the wagon and so on and so forth.
Yep. Got it. Okay. Just give me.
I have a question. While I'm gone, did we decide what the weather is?
Yeah, it's a nice
day. Brisk and clear. And so far, we still have not had vague, and I don't know what vague is, but I'm increasingly nervous. He's been very vague about what it is.
On vague, we become the crying babies.
Probably.
Give me one moment, please.
Speaking of crying babies, I can hear my dog whining in the background. Is he registering for you guys or no?
Nope.
Are we good?
No.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's just annoyed because he's in the crate.
No.
Just make sure he doesn't fail his morale check, or you're in big trouble.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Cool. So you guys are going to you're going to park the wagon. Do you give what? Okay. So yeah, you do that, and you head off on your own. Who are you bringing with you?
Do we bring the torchbearer guy, the laborer?
No, he's supposed to stay with the wagon, wasn't he? Wasn't that the deal?
No, the hunter's staying with the wagon.
Hunter stays with the wagon and forages while we're gone. One person sets up camp, and one was supposed to come and carry light sources and stuff for us, right?
I'll tell Tim to come along.
So we're only bringing one guy with us, right?
Yeah.
2 stay back, 1 go. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
One forages, one guards.
Yes.
So the fighter and the hunter stay with the wagon.
Yes.
And the torchbearer comes with us.
Correct.
Okay. So they have
I'll say,
names.
Pim, come with me.
There's Bragan and Weevil who are staying, and then Pim is coming with you. Okay. All right. You head off into the forest to the east of the road. So this area of Dolmenwood here has tangled forest, elegant golden leafed beaches, seem to basically kind of have a shield over top of you in their canopy that protects you from the elements, although there isn't it's a very pleasant day, but in general the area is very sort of Lothlorien like. It's like very kind of golden beaches, very, very pretty as you sort of crunch through the undergrowth, carefully kind of moving about, searching as you go. There is little to find, except just sort of viewing the natural beauty of the forest until you kind of near the center of the hex. The closer you get to the center of the hex, Elfric, the more pronounced that cycle of moaning and crying becomes. You see that when you've, I'd say, traveled about 3 miles or so near the center, there is a large glade that spreads out before you, about 500 feet wide. And in the center of that glade, you can see through the trees, there is a very large, generally circularly shaped pool, about 300 feet in diameter. Placid water, punctuated with clusters of pale green lily pads. But it's what's in the center that catches your eyes through the trees before you enter into the glade itself, which is something that should not be, basically, a tall, black obelisk, which is rising out of the very center of that pool.
Ooh.
Sharp,
That's the Gorthstone?
sharp, black, lines that are incongruous with the natural shapes of the forest.
I stop everyone before they go into the glade, and I say, "Look upon this, my friends, and see a actual dolmen in the woods, sacred to the Droon, and usually closely guarded by them."
Is this that Gorthstone you were telling us about?
Yeah. Mosselmer Druge told me about one that might lie in the vicinity of this. It is a nexus of arcane powers here in the Dolmenwood. And as I said, closely guarded by the mysterious and unfriendly Droon.
So we can't sell it.
Is it an evil thing?
It's
Certainly
ancient.
looks
I mean, I think it's older than the concepts of good or evil. It's beyond our ken. It's basically the dolmens are beyond your comprehension, and frankly beyond mine too. I know very little about them except that they are usually located in areas that are extremely dangerous for the uninitiated to go wandering in.
And to accentuate your point, Elfric, you notice that there is a strange shadow that seems to be lurking directly over the entire glade, but only the glade itself. And looking up through the canopy of trees, which is otherwise sunny and bright and clear, you see that there is a cloud that actually hangs over the glade and is pouring rain down into that open area.
Well, that convinces me.
place.
I don't want to get wet. Such a nice day.
Does it seem like just normal rain and rainwater that's falling?
It appears to be. It's basically obscuring the obelisk's shape a little bit. It's downpouring so much, but it is obviously magical in nature because it is so localized. Like, you know, those cartoons where it's like a little cloud just follows a guy around and just rains on him the entire time. It's like that, but just like it's directly over this 500-foot wide glade. So it's sunny everywhere else. It's sunny where you guys are, and you guys are maybe 60 feet or so away from the edge of the glade. But right over the glade, it's pouring rain.
All right.
Dark and
So-
gray.
Can I take a half an hour, guys, if you don't mind, and just sketch what I see on a parchment?
Sure.
Yeah, I don't mind.
I mean, yeah. If you don't mind, I'm going to take a careful watch around. If there's magic like this afoot, there could be other things.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe me and somebody else could walk the perimeter of the glade and meet you back here. While
I'm
you
happy
go.
to do that if you let me forage while we do it.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's
Right.
perfectly sensible.
Go
Before we
ahead.
go, though, I have a question for Alfric. So he's telling us that this is the Gorthstone. We're like, oh, okay, danger, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, so what's it for? Like, you're going to draw a picture, you're going to study it, and that, is this just something to just avoid and never come back? Or
It's not that I think that the dolmen itself might be dangerous. It's the guardians that it presents that would be dangerous. So that's why I would advise you to be cautious. The dolmens are ancient, and the Droon have monopolized them for millennia, like withstanding the rigors of the church and everything else. What the dolmen's actual purposes are, I frankly don't know. But I do know that if you encounter any strangers in the woods, it would be wise to treat them with respect. Make sure that they know that you don't intend to interfere with the dolmen, and that you are simply lost in the woods, and perhaps will live.
Foraging. We're just foraging for mushrooms. Don't worry.
In
about
fact,
it.
guys, if he just wants like 20 or 30 minutes to make his sketch, why don't we just wait and all go together? He seems to know what's going on here. Why? Because otherwise, I would want to stay here to protect him because he'd be all by himself. You guys are off, Just wait 20, 30 minutes. We can all walk around together.
I should ask
because
before,
Argus and Nancy.
what are the spells that our spellcasters have memorized for the day?
Oh,
Sleep
yeah.
and sleep.
Sleep in what?
Sleep.
Oh, okay.
And I have light, protection from evil, and silence.
Okay.
I have stab with spear.
Oh, actually, I have a point of something that I was unclear about. When you pray, right, at the cathedral in Prigwort, you said that I have access to hold person. Is that just allowing me to have a? Does that give me an extra slot? Like what is the functionality of the prayer based spell?
It's sweet because it breaks the rules. It actually gives you the ability to cast that spell in addition to everything else, no matter what your level is, no matter what your capability. So,
what I'm asking is does it? So if I was level 1, for instance, I would be able to cast it. The question is, does it exist in like its own independent spell slot?
Yes, it's its own individual thing. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Amazing. All right.
Did you want to? Did you want to do that before you left?
We had discussed it. I mean, we don't have to if it's
fine.
I just discussed.
If you were going out on a journey, an expedition, there'd be no reason for you not to.
Okay.
So you have that until like the next sunrise, basically.
Awesome.
Okay. So what do you do after? So Alfric takes down a relatively accurate depiction of what it looks like.
And I think me and Argus walk the perimeter and I forage while he stoops.
Well, okay, so, but if Halifax is like, you guys should just wait, because, you're going to get eaten by yourselves when you go out there, and then...
Yeah, it's like 20, 30 minutes.
Argus would totally be like, oh, he's right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay.
That's very dangerous. He's going to stand right behind Alfric and guard him. That's much more sensible. Yes, I'll guard Alfric. Good idea.
Brave, Sir Robin.
and then we can go looking for mushrooms as we skirt this glade. Right. I'd be curious to know if there's a stream or something coming out of the pool, and whether there's a water going somewhere, or if it's just a standing perfect ring of water with no outlet. Getting rained on all the time, the water's got to go somewhere. I'm curious. So if we go around the glade, maybe we'll find a creek.
I'm also curious, like while he's making his sketch, Halifax will be watching to see how animals behave in this environment. Like, are they going into the rain and out? Like, do we see birds fly, or is everything avoiding this like the plague, or do things crawl in and out like they don't care?
Things are basically avoiding you in general. But in general, like, you're basically seeing birds, and birds are ignoring it. Like they're not entering into the rain.
Oh, so they'll like steer clear.
They steer clear, yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so you make your slow way around the perimeter, and it's a very unnerving sight, right? There's rain, but there's like a curtain of rain that basically shuts off the whole thing. It does appear to be draining into the lake itself, like the rain. You know what I mean? Like it's basically the land sort of slopes down a little bit into the lake. You haven't pierced that curtain, but let me know if you do. But remember that it's a 500-foot wide glade, and then there's a 300-foot wide lake in the midst of that. So there's 200 feet span of wet ground that basically approaches that lake, in the center of which is that obelisk. In general, though, you do not see any water outlet at all, and it does appear to be natural in shape. Like I'm giving you the rough diameter, but it is definitely not some expertly landscaped area. Yeah.
So if we understand what you've been rambling about in your drunken stupors, Alfric, you're saying that the ley lines exist.
I never say anything about ley lines.
Oh, when you're in your cups, man, you talk a lot. It's you go on, and the ley lines are there, and the Druun have put these stones or found these stones where the ley lines have their confluence, is what we're thinking.
That's not at all what I was just telling you. I said the dolmens are ancient. And the Druun are just men that live in the forest that have claimed them for some reason.
Someone put it here.
More about them than we do.
At the confluence. And the question is it causing the ley lines, or is it there because that's where the ley lines have their confluence? But you don't know, man.
You go to 16 years of wizard school and see if you know. I don't.
You're always doing that.
I honestly don't know. Like, I don't know whether the dolmens are there to manipulate the ley lines or control the ley lines or to keep them from running out of control. I don't know. I don't know what the purpose is, other than if you mess around with them, sooner or later the Druun finds you, and it's not a happy thing. It's not a hug fest.
Okay.
So you do remember that when you talked to Mosselmeyer, that when he told you about the Gorthstone, the reason that he told you about it was that he believes that because of its location, that it confirms that the ley line runs southwest to northeast, right? In addition, he told you that he warned you that there were tales, not the ones that he has witnessed himself, but there are tales of local folk in Prigwort, that the spirit haunts the glade in which the stone resides. That was told to you at one of our past episodes.
I remember that.
Not sure which one.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It is in my notes.
You said southwest to northeast?
Southwest to northeast, which right now is tracking with where you have traveled. So cool. I also want to once again, Alfric, the signs of the presence of the ley lines are so strong here. They're almost drowning out your fellow companion's speech. The rest of you can see that Alfric, like the way that he talks to you about answers your questions about the ley lines is almost in a very distracted manner. You know what I mean? Like he can barely focus on what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like there's something that's obviously bugging him.
Cool. That doesn't worry me at all.
All right, John, once I've got a rough sketch, I'll mumble something about not engaging with spirits, not a good idea, not prudent at this juncture. And then I'm going to suggest that we leave.
Yeah. All right, so we'll just keep going around the glade.
You guys tell me. Do you want to mess around with it? I mean,
I'd like to adventure.
He was rolling eyes. I'm like,
well,
just a thought.
I mean, I kind of want to. Yeah, if Druj is worried about the Druun.
Yeah, but Druj is a powerful wizard, don't get me wrong. But he's also the kind of guy that's more happy to sit in town, and he says this all the time. He would rather be in town and warm and safe with his slippers on. He's not exactly the adventuring type. So
he's a retired adventurer. He kind of did his thing.
So he has very little interest in coming here himself. He would be very interested in any information that we gather. So from like a point of view of like, hey, let's go sell data to the wizard with the evil imp in town. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm in. National curiosity, right? This is why I'm Alfric of what's my title again? Alfric of Sights Yet Unseen.
Oh, there you go. It's perfect.
Halifax is cool with throwing a stick in there.
Argus kind of wanted to go fishing, actually.
Yeah, I'll go with Argus. YOLO, dudes, come on.
Okay,
YOLO.
Are we gonna do a perimeter or not?
They did it.
We already did the perimeter.
We already walked all the way around. Okay.
This was super unclear. I wanted to forage while I was doing that. So
okay,
did we do the whole perimeter, John?
You did the whole perimeter.
We talked about whether we wanted to or not. I don't think
it's fine. Go ahead and roll a d6.
I thought foraging was a whole day activity.
No,
he can do it as he walks.
Only if it's focused foraging.
That's a 2.
Is that better for you as a friar? No, you still have the same.
I get a 2 in 6 chance of successfully finding plants while I'm traveling as a friar.
While foraging?
Foraging, a party with a friar has a 2 in 6 chance of successfully finding edible plants or fungi while traveling.
Yeah, so you have a 2 in 6, and you rolled a 2, right?
Yes.
That's great, which means that you did it where no one else could, which is great. Okay, you have successfully foraged. Roll a d6.
Love to see it. That is another 2.
Okay, you find some fungi. Roll 1d20.
Oh, let's make it hallucinogenic. Let's take it and then let's go into the middle of the...
Yes.
A 3.
A 3. Oh.
Yes.
You find what is known as, appropriately enough, Druunberry.
Druunberry.
It's spelled in the more like common Woldish spelling, like the low class Woldish spelling of Droon, which is Droun, Droonberry. But they are not berries; they are fungi, right? But they're called droomberries. They are walnut-sized button mushrooms, tiny. They're jet black, but with bright yellow gills underneath. Right? They are completely odorless.
And do I have any idea, as a friar, if they confer anything beyond?
It's you have never had one, but you can tell that you are aware that they are edible and are not poisonous, and you are going to find enough to feed 1d6. Roll 1d6.
Nice. So that's great. I'll roll 1d6. I got a 6.
Got a 6. Okay, so you have found enough to actually feed 6 human-sized beings for a day. So they're treated as standard unpreserved rations. So you basically added six standard rations to your total, except these, which is kind of cool for amazing encumbrance, are don't count as anything as encumbrance.
Amazing.
So they're
Go ahead.
No, I'm done.
I should have specified also, I'll get better at this, where Pim was during all of this, because he's been with us, so I probably haven't come with me.
Yeah,
Right.
he will always default to following you.
There's 6 of us in this sort of expeditionary group. I think it makes sense to just eat them now. I'm going to pop mine in my mouth and nom on it and give one to Pim and say, gentlemen, I found us some goodies if you want.
Why don't we eat the heavy ones and save the light ones?
Because they might not last.
They're not iron. Yeah.
Standard rations don't last that long. Don't worry. I mean, they don't count much encumbrance. We just add them into the meal pile. We eat them for lunch. It's fine.
Yeah.
What's the 6th?
You put a mushroom in your pocket and see how long it tastes good.
Who is this? Who is
He wants to go skinny dipping.
Who is the 6th person?
We have 3 retainers and me.
Yeah, but only 5 of us are here.
Right. So it's
two retainers
that's
stayed with the
true.
wagon.
yeah. Okay. I just want to double check. So it's just Pim. Okay. All right. So however you want to mark that, you and Pim have each eaten one. So now there's 4 left. Well done. When you eat,
they count as a meal.
they count
John?
they count as a standard ration, but they don't weigh anything.
Right.
So they
Who
take.
else is having?
I'll eat one.
Okay. Anyone else? Let's.
Well, I was going to wait till lunch, but
They taste mildly.
Sorry, go ahead, John.
They taste mildly of pepper, although they are odorless.
I love it.
Okay.
Okay.
So you do that. Pim is basically, Pim's a lad, probably, late teens, probably. But he's pretty built. He's got a 14 strength, which isn't too bad. So that's why you kind of hired him. He's good at picking up stuff. But if he could be hiding in your coattails, Gwillem, that's what he would be doing. He is rather terrified and keeps mumbling prayers to a bevy of saints to protect him from the cursed place that you have brought him to. He looks like he is beside himself with fear. He cannot believe that he got hired to do this, even though it was a very generous offer. But the very first place you take him, within hours of the first expedition, is right to one of the dolmen stones. So I'm gonna, I just realistically, I do think that you haven't quite bonded with the guy yet, right? Like, he's in a bad place right now. It's a scary place. It's obviously magical and daunting. So I think we're gonna witness our first loyalty check here. Now, the good thing about Pim is that because you rolled a 12 when you hired Pim, which actually gives him a +1 to his loyalty. So we're normally, and you're a very charismatic fellow. So viewers out there, Gwillem has a 17 charisma, which actually gives all of his retainers a loyalty of 9, which is really great out of 12. But Pim, who David hired with a roll of 12 on the reaction chart, actually increases his loyalty by 1. So Pim has a loyalty of 10. So he feels well treated so far, but he's very disapproving of where you've taken him right now. So roll 2d6. You're going to attempt to hit 10 or lower, in which case you'll stay.
I got a 6.
Not a problem at all. Okay, so
Here, Ben, you'll be fine. Don't quiver so obviously. The others will jeer.
he looks like I don't, and he's just constantly making the revelator just and staying behind you.
Right on.
Okay, so I'd say
Let's go for the water.
right now, let's see, if you left at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'd say it's probably around noontime now.
Okay.
So what do you do?
I knew, man. Magic's at its weakest. Let's go.
So if
I'll
we,
get with you.
yeah, if we're going into this rain, does it smell funny? Does it taste funny or feel funny?
You
It
can
just
you can
feels all
probably
off?
feel the humidity coming off of it. It smells like a rainy spring day, which is not altogether unpleasant.
I say we do it. Let's go in. Argus is getting out his fishing pole, working up a little bait on the hook there. He's ready to cast off and see if he can catch himself a droonfish.
Why do I feel like that bait on that hook?
All right. You step through the curtain of rain, and you are immediately sodden. Right, the sound of rain like overwhelms you as you step through, and you're immediately sodden. Like you have to shout at each other. It's coming down so hard, right? But it's like a steady, straight down. As you do so, though, the Gorthstone itself, far off in the distance, right, still 250 feet away, is you can see it goes like you ever, like in Assassin's Creed when it has like the glitch. It's like that, like just kind of shimmers a little bit off in the distance, but everything else is okay. But I would say, Alfred, even more that palpable sense of unease and wrongness is not of evil, but just of something that is other than nature is here. And it's sort of like it like double folds again, like as you step through, like immediately and you see Alfred like buckle under some sort of enormous pressure as he unconsciously raises his hands to his head. You can still function, Alfred, but it's just it's consuming everything in your mind right now.
Don't want to go in?
So you're in. There is your feet sink down into wet, sodden ground as well, and the lake lies before you, about 200 feet away.
As we stumble forward, I kind of through my haze say, "Beware of a guardian spirit that lurks in the glade," and then I just stumble away from them.
You're like, thanks.
Okay.
And this guardian is something that we need to destroy. I frankly am a little bit confused while we're here, going towards something we know that isn't evil yet is something we've been warned to avoid.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are we going to get out of it?
You hear like
something to sell
Knowledge.
there's a crash, like, and like a lightning bolt jags down from the cloud and crashes into the obelisk, and it like lights up the whole place for an instant, like shimmering off all the millions of raindrops, and then like leaves like a blinding flash in your eyes, and you're like, "What the fuck is going on?" Pim is visibly quivering behind you, Gwillem, like holding on to like your robes.
Hey guys, remember when John said he would transmit danger to us?
Halifax is feeling buckets of nope. Just buckets
Do you continue forward towards the lake?
Yes.
I do
will
not.
leave them in the lurch, John, if they are going to be a bunch of namby-pambies about it.
Yes.
Leaning heavily on my staff because I can barely carry my own weight under the weight of mental assault.
Yeah.
I want to go inspect the dolmen for any like carvings or.
Well, you have an issue because you have a lake that surrounds you.
I'm not gonna go into the water yet, but I'm sure that the dolmen is huge, right? Like it's massive.
It's
Also-
it's quite large, but it's not like watching a monument large, right? It stands about 15 feet high, but remember it's 50 feet off the shore of this lake. So are you? You would have to approach the lake no matter what. Are you going to go to the lake's edge?
Yeah, I'm gonna go right up to the edge of the lake.
Okay, so you move close to the lake, and you can see that once again, like I said, it's clear. normally placid, but not right now, obviously, with pale green water lilies all around. All right. When you get up to the lake, do you look into it, or what are you doing? Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm gonna inspect the water. I'm gonna look for any like movement in the water, or any creatures or faces, or
Indeed, when you peer into the water, you see a pale, shrouded form emerge from the lake itself. It appears to be a young woman that's drifting amongst the lily stems, just sort of skimming below the surface. She's wearing.
Did I learn anything about this kind of spirit in wizard school? Do I know anything about this?
You have no idea what this is, but it ain't right. She appears to be dressed in sodden white holy vestments of some sort. Appeared to be of like a long lost sect that you're not aware of. And as you're like, oh my God, what is that? Her eyes underneath the water open up, and an unholy blue light emerges from them. And they actually, the light kind of emerges out of the water, and behind you, your companions who are approaching hesitantly, if at all, can actually see like two beams of light just like come out of the water. And to your horror, Alfric, as you kind of stumble back, the head sopping wet with, like the hair being pulled back by gravity sort of rises out as she sits erect out of the water. And she turns with a stiffness towards you and looks at you.
You look dead? She looks like a dead person?
She does look dead. Although she looks remarkably well preserved. She's not rotting, but she's pale. This
is the lady in The Shining, isn't she?
And she slowly rises out, dripping. It's sort of like the girl from the ring, yeah, but grown, but not a girl, but not a girl, like a young woman. And she rises out.
I'm sitting in a dark basement right now, assholes. Like I'm like.
She pulls herself out of the water, dripping, until like her bare feet are dangling just above the water. Right?
She's like floating.
Yeah, like floating. Exactly. Yeah. And now you guys can all see it. And she.
Shields up.
She sort of drifts towards you, and she reaches out like one pale, dripping hand towards you, Elfric, and she says in like a surprisingly deep voice from the grave, which seems to meld closely with the moans that you're hearing in your head that you've always heard ever since you've been in Prigwort. And she says, "Return to me the Librum of Lost Souls."
Does that jingle any jangles for me? Do I know what the Librum of Lost Souls is?
It's completely foreign to you.
I go down on one knee, like a courtier bow, not like a worshiping a god bow kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And put my staff down below me, and bow my head and say, "Great lady, who are you, and why do you linger in this place?"
My life ended here, she says, like slowly, as if she's trying to remember exactly what happened. And my spirit now lies within that tome. You must talk to the man who betrayed me, the abbot of the refuge of St. Key.
We've met that abbot before, John, but I'm not recalling his name right off the gate.
Spatulard.
Okay. What did you say? Spectral Lager?
Spatulard.
Abbot Spatulard, my lady.
And her eyes open wide, and she reaches out both hands towards. She's like, yes, Spatulard, she says.
My lady, what occurred? How long have you been in this place?
I have been trapped here, murdered for my beliefs. 10 long years. 10, and then she whips up her head as if she's listening to something, and she goes, and then she cowers. She cowers as if she's hearing something, and like something's like berating her, or like or hitting her, or something like that. She's like cowering underneath it. She goes, Yes, master. Yes, master. And she kind of gets back up again, and she slowly like moves back over the lake and starts to sink back into the water. And she just like reaches out one more pleading hand towards. She goes, the Libra.
Where is it? Where does it live?
Then she said, the abbot gave it away to the drone. And she sinks below the water.
How come the chick that gave you a quest was hot, Swinny?
She looks like she may have once been hot.
All right, we're gonna have to go kill your friar friend, Gwillem.
Was this all in our earshot? Or, I mean, I guess you just recon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I would say that Gwillem is, very interested in talking to the abbot and is highly suspicious of him. Especially considering Gwillem's already suspicious of the archbishop to begin with.
You're a man of the church. Did you recognize her vestments? Was she some sort of prescribed cult that the church suppressed?
Yeah, she said that
I would
her
guess.
beliefs were persecuted or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's
Spatula
murdered.
betrayed her because they didn't condone her beliefs. So, John, same question, right? Did I recognize anything about her vestments?
You did not.
Okay, well,
They just looked like
we can go to the source.
they were very white, but simple, but not like undergarments, right? So that's sort of the conclusion that you reached, that it was some sort of ritual wear of some sort, right? But just nothing that you could place specifically, because
It's not a corpse shroud.
not a corpse shroud. No, it looks like something that you deliberately put on for a ceremony of some sort. It's just like, because they were so white, it's not something that normal villagers just sort of walk around in white.
Sure.
She didn't say anything name-like, right? She didn't say her name.
She didn't say her name. No, she looks like she was having trouble remembering exactly what was happening.
She didn't have one of those hello name tags.
No, unfortunately not. I'll be your phantom today.
John, I wanna do like a search of the glade and see if I come across. I mean, I know it's been 10 years of pouring rain, but do I come across a body? Do I come across I don't know, torn up turf, a hastily buried grave, like anything that might give me some sort of indication of what happened here, like a place where there was a fire or anything like that?
No, but she did say it was 10 years ago, though. So most likely unless it was something that was very permanent, it wouldn't survive. As you were searching across the glade, though, you do notice, too, as you were at the edge of the water, that she was floating in what appeared to be a very shallow pool. Like the pool itself appeared to be very shallow, as in you could probably walk into it, and provided that it didn't drop off suddenly, you could approach the Gorthstone.
Who wants to go into the water, man?
You said to the two guys in full plates.
I'll come up.
Yeah,
Having
I'll join you. We'll all
having
go
seen
together.
you not be struck down with lightning, Argus is like, oh, okay.
All right.
Sure, all right, I'll come. Yeah. So I'll come join Argus up at the water's edge.
From the edge of the water, John, is there anything on the dolmen that is worth closer inspection? Is there like carvings, or even if I can't make them out, if there's carvings or something on it, then I will go up to it, Yeah,
so it's 15 feet high. It is 50 feet away. But at this point, you can make out a little bit of more detail, even through the thick curtains of rain. Hard black rock of some sort. It appears to be veined with silver that is catching the light of once in a while, the lightning that kind of crashes in the clouds above. In that brief span of time, you also see that there does appear to be script of some sort that is around the middle of the stone, and there are tight bands of runes which appear to be around the base, rising right out of the water.
All right, very good. Then I'm gonna even if the guys leave. No, hold on a sec, Ted. Even if the guys don't come with me, I'm gonna start tottering my way through the lake to try to get to the dolmen.
So, quick question about that. You said it comes directly out of the water. It's not like on a little hummock of land, right?
Yeah.
Can we see how, like, is the water deeper at the center, or?
I am wrong, Ted. I misspoke. It is actually set atop a obviously man-made dais of some sort, of crumbling weed-clad sandstone. Strangely enough.
Okay.
As these guys are approaching, Halifax is hanging a little behind. He still doesn't feel like this is any of our business, but he is kind of watching the water to see if, like, tentacles start rising up, or there are those lily pads, if they like flip over and there are guys underneath them. He's very, very paranoid at this point.
Right, sure.
All right. I got your back, Elfric. I'm right behind you. I'll go with you.
Okay. Make sure you wear all that heavy metal armor into the pool of water.
I'm definitely doing that with the lightning. Yes.
Okay. So
and I have a spear with a metal point on the end, too.
We have no concept of conductivity.
That's right.
You slowly wade through the water carefully, and you reach the dais. Palpable arcane power is rolling off of it in waves, Elfric. It's taking every step forward is an effort at this point. Argus, you just don't like the look of the whole place, but you can move fine. But you almost feel like you need to put like an arm underneath Elfric.
Yeah, I'll support him. Let him.
Okay, so as you get up onto the dais and you are in the presence of one of the mighty dolmens of the Dolmenwood, here at the confluence of the ley line you were and some other ley line, obviously at this point, you see that there appears to be some sort of crooked speech, in other words, magical script that is written around the middle. Around the base, there appears to be a different script, but this is runes itself, and these are obviously Drunic runes.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I read either of those? I mean, crooked speech, can I read it? Or do I have to cast my read magic?
You would have to cast read magic to do that one. Drunic, you have no idea.
All right. I am going to pull out. I'm going to ask, how deep is the water? Is it up to my knees? Not up to my knees?
You're out of the water now. You're actually on this small little dais of sandstone.
I fall on my knees because I'm, just being crushed by mental weight.
Mm-hmm.
Ask him to hold his cloak over me so I can cast my read magic scroll without it getting destroyed.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. I happen to have a long red cape. I will drape over him like that.
Mm-hmm.
Spear held up, kind of leaning on it, but cape out like that. Lightning crashing overhead. This is very, very cinematic, John. I'm liking this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a good scene.
And you read this. You recast the spell?
I cast my read magic scroll.
Okay.
Aren't we glad I spent 500 GP on that?
All right, so you cast a spell. There's like a green light. You can, those of you who have not joined, you kind of see like emanating outwards from underneath this sort of makeshift umbrella that Argus has over. You can silently see like this glow of green arcane energy as the words on the scroll like sort of light up and then just disappear off the page. And replaced by an ability to actually decipher what the crooked speech actually says here, Alfric. And you see that it is the crooked speech instructions on how to cast the spell Dispel Magic.
Ooh.
I had the sneakiest suspicion, and I'm glad that was confirmed. That's fun.
That's where Druge got that scroll, maybe. Like he learned how to learn the spell.
So we have
that's a third level spell. So
Yes. So
Mike, we now have an objective for you.
Yeah.
But the way it works here, Alfric, is that if you basically spend an hour here studying this, you can opt to learn the spell. The next time you are available, next time you can learn a third level spell, you can actually add that to your spell book, right? So this is an example of an in-world spell that you can add to your spell book, right?
That's worth 500 gold right there, Mike.
Yeah.
All right, I'll stand here with a cape over you for an hour. My arm burning at the shoulder.
No, you only need to do it long enough for me to cast a spell, and you don't have to do it anymore.
He has to study it for an hour.
He doesn't have to write it in his spell book or something.
No, you basically,
Or taking notes or something.
you could, yeah, it gives you the ability to learn it. So whatever form that takes is up to you there, Mike. You can retain it in your head, or you can write it down, whatever.
Okay.
Well, it might
Now,
be. It actually might be important because if you wanted to share that knowledge with someone else, if it has to be in written form in order for you to do that, right?
Right.
So,
So yeah, so if you don't mind, dude, that'd be great because I can't write in the rain.
What about around the base when he does the read magic? Does nothing happen with the runic runes?
nothing happens. The Drunic runes are not inherently magical, at least as far as you can tell, without casting Detect Magic, Elfric. But you as an intelligent person who is aware of arcane things can tell that there's an obvious difference, not only in the lettering itself, but just in the form factor of the two. Like one is magic, one is the crooked speech, and one is Drunic. Drunic is a legit language; it's a rune-based language, but basically anyone who's a resident of Dolmenwood knows it when they see it. It's just very few people know how to speak it or read it. But it's not, what I'm trying to say is like it is a language that can be learned by non-arcane people, right? It's just another language. It's just like many things with the Druin, it's hoarded. Like its secrets, how to read it is hoarded by the Druin. But if you made an effort, it may pay off to learn what Drunic actually says. Now, in the meantime,
I imagine it looks like Viking runes. I imagine it looks like Viking runes, but
Sure.
that could just be me.
yeah, they didn't actually determine it. They didn't actually canonize it, so I'm not really sure exactly.
Hey guys, remember like 10 minutes ago when you all wanted to turn and leave?
Now,
I was like, chickens.
as this is occurring, back on the shore, Gwillem and Halifax are no, you hear off in the forest. You hear the shouts of men and women in battle, and you also see the crackling of green arcane energy somewhere off in the lit forest, right? Like it almost seems like a hazy portal to a different world, like looking back out to the normal world, right? You don't actually see sunshine or anything like that, but you hear flashes coming out. They appear to be coming from around the southeast ish, around there. And then you can.
Is that the direction of our wagon? Sorry.
No, your wagon is west, almost directly west. You hear shouts quickly ended, a scream cut off, and then silence. And now that happens about, I would say, like 10 minutes into Elfric copying down this or reading the thing. Argus and Elfric, you guys are too far away to actually hear this. Gwillem and Halifax, you guys are way further back in the glade itself. Do you go investigate, or do you wait a little bit longer for Argus and Elfric to finish up?
If I hear that screaming, I'm gonna want to go. That doesn't sound right. That sounds like people are in trouble. I think we should go check it out.
And he was never
their
seen
homework
it.
soon.
This is the guy who wouldn't split the party to look for mushrooms.
Mushrooms is one thing. This is
Charging that into a battle, that's something that
Well,
You're absolutely, this is what a golden knight would do. Absolutely.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we were to shout to, they're a ways away and it's loud. But if I were to shout full lung back to Elfric and Argus, would they hear us?
Yes, they would.
Who else would hear you?
Well, good question. Either we bounce or I run over to you and tell you what they're doing while Halifax runs into the woods without me. So
I think that and Halifax would support calling and telling those guys. In fact, he would say, finish your homework later. There's trouble. There's sounds of battle right over there. People need our help. We can come back and you can finish your wizard writing, whatever you're doing.
I'm not going to interrupt the process. I have the read magic scroll already spent, and I only have it for a period of time.
yeah.
Also, I'm under severe mental anguish. I don't even register that you're talking to me right now, so
Okay.
I'm just going to keep
So if we're going Halifax, it's just the two of us.
Afraid
Okay.
so, because Argus is not going to ditch Alfric.
And okay, so
And-
I
and
say,
Pim,
here's what I do.
right?
I know. I say, Pim, run and tell them. Will he? That's a good question. I say, Pim, run to them and tell them we're going to see what's going on over there. Would you? Stay with them. Stay with them.
You want me to go in the water?
Only versus open warfare.
Yeah.
Pim, dear lad, would you rather be with them or come with us to the battle?
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll go tell them. I guess not getting paid enough. All right. So he.
5 gold pieces is really good, man.
5 gold pieces a day, Pim. Don't clutch your pearls now, baby.
so okay. So he runs to the edge of the. Can he yell? Is he? Or do you want him to be quiet?
I'm just, since they're not paying attention anyway, I'm just gonna have them not yell. I'm just gonna say deliver the message rather than us screaming our lungs off, and then me and Halifax are gonna bowl.
Okay, cool. All right, so he goes to the edge, and you guys move off to the southeast to investigate. So you come to the edge of the glade, and you haven't seen anything untoward. Do you exit out of the rain?
Yes.
We don't hear anything else. It's just
It's
silence.
quiet right now, but the rain is pouring down, so it's there was definitely whatever you were hearing was very loud on the other side.
I step through the rain.
Yeah,
Okay.
I go through too.
So it's like it's shocking. Like you're just like chirp, 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 birds, blah, 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 quiet, sunshine, beaming down and all that sort of stuff. Slight gentle breeze through the trees, all that kind of stuff. And then you see your heads whip to the right as you see a form lying in a pool of blood.
Uh-oh.
About 20 feet away, right? It matches the foliage itself of the gold foliage. It's a gold armored figure lying splayed out on the ground.
I reach over.
A lance at its side, splayed out. Do you approach?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, do I recognize that armor? Does it seem like any of the armors from the local houses or things that I'd be?
Not at all. It looks very strange.
I bet it's an elf.
And you walk up to it, and indeed, as you approach, you see that it does appear to be a fallen, towering figure of fairy, an actual golden elf with golden burnished skin and a shimmering yellow armor that he's wearing, leaf-shaped and close-fitting to his form, as he's splayed out with his hair, his yellow golden hair splayed out upon the underbrush as well, and one hand just loosely grasping the edge of like this long, beautiful wrought lance, and it appears that he has a wickedly curved dagger that has been buried in his throat, that is pinning him to the ground.
Well, we're not going to help him.
Yeah. Does he seem alive or dead?
Very dead.
Uh-huh.
Very dead. And as you're investigating him, you hear off in the distance, just about 30 feet away, about to the northeast, you hear a low male voice call out, "Who goes there? Who disturbs the dominion of the Odrun Hadral?"
I call out those whose God's light shines down upon, dear friend, and you.
Trespassers. And you look up and you see two very strange looking forms emerge from the trees, black cloaked. They each carry each carrying a what appears to be a rune carved staff in their hands. And at the top of that staff, like it seems to be glowing like a dark green arcane energy. One of them has its hood up, and underneath its hood, you see it's wearing a featureless clay mask across its entire face.
Mhm.
Just right across his face. The other one has appears to be does not have a mask, has a shelf-like brow that's peering out from its hood, which he flips back, revealing long, scraggly, unkempt hair, and he has a necklace of owl skulls that's draped around him. Both black, cloaked with the edges of those cloaks stained with the from travel.
I do a slight bow.
Yeah, so Halifax, seeing them approach and seeing this elven form on the ground, he would say, trespass is not something that we mean to do. I heard the sounds of battle and trouble here, and I came to see if there was someone who needs aid. Apparently, we might have a common enemy here. I am no friend of elves and fairy. Apparently, you are not either. And he kind of shows him he doesn't draw his blade, but he kind of pulls back so they can see the handle, the hilt of Chide's blade, which I don't know. He's hoping that he would see that as a blade that is anathema of fairy and elves. But he's not making a threat of it. He's just trying to show that I don't like these guys either.
Okay, roll me 2d6, please.
That is a 3.
A 3. Okay, give me one moment.
Got to see the random Droon damage chart. Speaking to Droon, you take 1 limb loss.
So,
you have...
polymorph to owl.
All right, so he says, all right-thinking folk are foes of the fairy. You have stepped out from the glade of the Gorthstone, which means you have trespassed upon our grounds that you well know we claim. We serve the Odrun Hadral. That sword, this is the other one now pointing at it, belongs to us. Give it to me. And you see his companion, the one with the clay mask, he holds up a hand, like in a benediction sort of way, but then the hand actually on the palm, floating in midair, just above the palm, goes like a green sigil, and then it forms like a pentagram. And he just holds it up as if he's sort of blessing you, and smiles wryly at you, and his companion holds out a waiting hand, the green flame atop the staff as well, and he's like, "Give me the blade. It is not meant for you."
This blade I cannot give to you, as it was bequeathed to me by its wielder, and I was tasked with carrying forth his same mission.
This is nonsense. He has lain in his tomb for over 800 years. That is the price for your trespass, is that sword. Give it to me now, or you will pay with your lives, just as you see that fairy lying before you.
There is no need to make an enemy of an ally.
He's just still trying, huh?
Still trying.
Very well, then. Willem, you want to step in here at all, or because I'm about to call for initiative?
I might step back in the opposite direction. Just right. I was giving Halifax some latitude. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Cast silence on that wizard, bro.
Yeah. I'm gonna intercede and say, surely men of purpose like you would not resort to highway robbery. Can't we talk this through? Come, Halifax.
The arcane secrets of Dolmenwood are ours by ancient right. You have trespassed. Now you must pay for the wrong that you have done.
Okay. I cast silence on them.
Yeah. All right. So
I say, I do a revelator and I say, your words are devil's whispers.
Okay. So they're ready for you. You guys are ready for them. So this brings us to a change I want to make to combat. Or we're going to give this a whirl. In order to, I came upon this revelation upon reading like some article or something like that. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to do two things differently, which I think will actually help to accentuate what makes OSE combat so fun, but also keep it a little bit more organized. So here's the idea: is basically what you're going to do is at the top of a round, I'm going to ask for declarations of actions, which include the normal things about moving in melee and casting spells. But in general, what I want you to do is just sort of tell me what you plan to do this round in general. Okay, this is the time for the tactically infinite space sort of thing, that sort of stuff to go on. That's like to encourage your discussion with your fellow players about what the best course of action is to be. So that's sort of like, I want to move up to here and do this, and I should, we know, I'm going to fire my bow first and all that sort of jazz, right? So in general, you want to let me know what you're going to be doing, right? Then the ability to do that is all hinged upon whether or not you win initiative, right? So then we would go through the steps normally, and then what's going to happen is the caller, whoever the caller is going to keep an organized, basically going to keep the phase sequence of combat. It basically is going to disseminate all of that information about what you plan to do in combat, and you're going to disseminate it into those phases so that it plays out abstractly. Do you understand? So not much is going to change, except for the fact that I think it's going to make it easier because you can actually plan before initiative is rolled for what you want to do in general, and then we just have to translate that into those abstract phases as best we can. Understand? But it also allows you the ability to change your plans unless you're casting a spell and unless you're moving in melee, depending on whether or not things change during combat. Understand? Okay.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. The other change that we're going to do is we're going to take a page out of Swords and Wizardry, which is a very well-known OSR game, which is basically the king of the 0E retro clones, where OSE is the king of the BX retro clones. Swords and Wizardry is Little Brown Box, 1974 D&D. And very easy change, but it does have ramifications, which you need to figure out. Is what we're going to do is movement and missile, which are the first two phases, are going to happen in initiative order on both sides. So let's say you guys win and the enemies lose. It would be movement and missile for you, and then movement and missile for them. Then we move on to spellcasting and magic at the which would be winners and then losers, right? So just be aware that what did I say?
You left out melee, so I don't know where.
What did I say? Spellcasting and it's spellcasting and melee. So it's movement and missile on both sides first, then spells and melee afterwards. Got it?
Okay.
Yes.
Question. So, what if like the movement? I guess I'm curious. Like, how do you actually move into melee with somebody? Because if you win initiative and you're like, okay, my fighter is going to charge into melee with them, and then they get their segment where they get to move, and they'll be like, I'm going to run away from that fighter, and then the fighter is standing there in the middle of the field, like not with nothing to swing at.
You can change depending on, like I said, the course of actions that happen, unless you are declaring that you're moving within melee, like you're trying to retreat or withdraw, or you're casting a spell, in which case you're committed no matter what.
So if fighter A moves up into melee, right, and then fighter B says, "Oh heck no, I'm going to run away," does fighter A already like kind of like get them into melee?
Yes,
and then,
yes, they do. Yeah,
B then has to retreat or withdraw.
Okay. And he can't because he didn't declare it at the top of the round, so he's locked in with you.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So we'll just play through it and see what happens. But just be aware that there is a division, like where the enemies get to respond before the enemies get to do their thing for movement and missile before you get to do your spell casting and melee. You understand? There's a response that happens in the midst of the round. Okay.
Now,
Okay.
John.
Yes.
I'm just curious. I don't know if this is really going to be a great test because it's going to be like one round, and then Halifax is going to be
Just
Come on, we're
very possible. Very possible.
Well, so their spell. I mean, because they would move or do missile, right? If they're about to cast a spell, presuming that's what they want to do, rather than charge forward, then there's no assurance that they would get their spells off before us. It depends on the
Right. So this is let's go through it. So basically, combat's about to start. We're going to just declare actions, right? So Willem, you're going to cast silence. Halifax, what do you kind of plan to do? They are obviously going to probably cast spells.
Are you guys declaring moves though too? Because you need to declare moves. So
No. Just generally declare. You're not in melee, so you don't have to declare that. Just generally declare what you hope to accomplish this round.
My plan is to cast silence on them so that Halifax can fucking charge in, close the gap, slice some heads.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's something you want to do, Halifax, but
Yeah, these guys seem to be bad news and want to take our shit, and I don't want our stuff to be taken. So I'm going to.
Really, they just want your shit.
Yeah.
So what are you doing, Matt?
I'm going to engage in melee with.
Okay. Do you want to engage with the one that has the clay mask or the one that has the owl necklace?
I would kill the wizard.
The one that seems to be casting the spell.
They're both casting spells.
Oh.
Clay mask or owls.
Hit the one that seems to be casting a spell without somatic components.
It doesn't. You can pick randomly, Matt.
The mask. The guy with the mask.
Okay.
Masks are creepy.
Okay. Roll for initiative, please.
Don't die.
All right. I will do it as it's my fault. Here we go. 5.
That's not bad.
I got a 1. You guys win. All right. So.
Oh my God! Write that down. It's a first.
Okay, so there's really not necessary to have a caller for this one, since there's only 2 of you. So now we know what's going to happen, right? So this first round will go slow, but this should make it much more fast for us and more comprehensible. So you're going to do your move and missile first, and then they're going to do their move and missile, right? So we know that as part of what you declare that you're going to do, Halifax, we break that down and say, like, okay, that means that you're moving towards the one in the mask, right?
Yeah.
That happens. So you engage with that guy. No one is doing missile weapons, so we just skip that part, and they are not moving as either. So then we move to the bottom half of the round, and you guys get to do your spell casting first, and then your melee, right? So this is really good for you guys because they're both casting spells. So Gwillem, let's see what happens first.
awesome. So just to reiterate, it's 15-foot radius. All sound is stopped within it. Conversation and spellcasting are impossible.
Okay.
Noise from outside the area can be heard by those within it. Casting upon a creature. Silence may be cast upon a creature, which must save versus spell. If the save fails, radius and silence moves with the creature. Oh, interesting. I should have read that. If the save succeeds, the spell's effect remains stationary. The target crit. Oh man, I'm sorry. So do I want to have a permanently silenced one guy? Oh man,
Yeah.
or it silence both of them for a round.
Spells are so much better in this edition. I swear to God, they're all way better.
Yeah, no, they're so cool. Yeah.
What would
If you
happen
do it on the area, they don't get a save.
what would happen if he cast it on
That's
me?
true.
Did he cast it on me, and as long as I'm there with me, they can't cast?
That's
Yeah,
genius.
Two
fucking
Halifax.
genius. Halifax.
The quiet night, the silent blade Halifax. What do you say to that, John? I mean, it makes sense. If the save fails, the 15 radius area of silence moves with the creature.
Yeah, moves with the creature.
Would you resist if you were a willing recipient? Would he even roll save versus spells? I mean, I don't know how that works.
I mean, I don't know about you, but back in old D&D, you could willingly fail a saving throw.
Yeah.
Oh, then I'm gonna for sure do that because that's a really cool and creative solve, Halifax. But that's up to John, I think.
I'm looking at the book.
Kill the wizard! Kill the wizard!
Hey. You already expressed that you're a racist against the Fae. And now you're a classist against spellcasters. Bullshit.
Classist against the spell. That was an interesting phrase.
Good thing I'm not a fey wizard. Holy cow.
Oh yeah, man, I'd have to kill you.
I
You'd never-
don't see any reason why. Yeah, I think if you telegraphed to Halifax that was what the plan was, then Halifax could willingly fail the saving throw.
Cool.
So I would say Halifax. You can take my axe and my silence.
Bring it on.
All right, I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
Genius.
All right. So
Go, baby, go! That's so cool.
oh, so it's like a spell off, right? Like you get yours off first. You make your obeisance to whatever. You should have looked that up. I wonder what the name of the prayer is, but.
Now, how far away are these guys? Are they standing close together?
Yeah, they were standing close together. They're about 5 feet apart. Yeah. But they kind of separate a little bit. I would say like maybe they're like 10 feet apart when they kind of take their battle stance. You know what I mean? Like with their pentagrams out. You know, and they're like waving their hands about. Like the green fire is writhing around the tops of their staff. But Gwillem whispers a quick benediction really quick as Halifax races in, and as you're pounding through the undergrowth, there's suddenly just like as you move towards them, right?
Also, it's Saint Cygnus is the saint.
Saint Cygnus is silent. That's great. He's like the lich word. Yeah, that's great. What's the name of the spell?
Oh, sorry, I went down. The alt name of the spell is Abjuration of Saint Cygnus.
Ooh, the Abjuration of Saint Cygnus. Nice, cool. All right, so the one true God prevails so far as silence rains down as Halifax comes down silently upon the clay mast Droon cottager, and what do? Halifax, you swing at him.
I'm going to offer him the sword that he wants, but not necessarily the way that he wanted it.
Awesome.
All right. I'm going to roll d20. Now I have a +1, but hey, we finally get to see what this sword does, if it does anything cool. Oh, there's an 18.
Nice.
So that's a 19.
A 19 with your strength?
Yeah.
Okay, so you actually rolled a 20.
Woo!
Oh.
Okay, so you easily hit him as the that blade. What did I say? It had like a red. Wasn't it like a red engraved fuller or something like that?
Or like a channel in it or something?
Yeah, like a fuller. Yeah. You bites deeply into this cottager as his spell is ruined, and the hex like winks out of existence as he clutches himself as you deal.
8. That's an 8. The damage too?
With your strength, yes.
Yeah. So that's 9 points of damage.
Actually, 10 points.
I maxed it out, baby.
Yeah, nice. All right, so you bite deep into him, and blood just pours out of him as he screams and wails.
No, he doesn't.
Oh yeah, you're right. Absolutely, yeah. So, yeah, you just see his face like curl up in pain as his mouth opens silently, and his companion like whips around, the owl necklace supposedly clacking, but not. As he looks and he mouths him, he's like, and then he looks in confusion and a little bit of fear. And then it's their turn for spells and magic, and you can see him. He's like holding forth his symbol, and he holds it right towards Gwillem, and he says something. He's like, and he looks at his hand, you know what I mean? And you can see him like curse, in silence, and he just sort of stands around like hesitating for a second. So
Dash got to just like Golem's mouth smirking.
Yeah, exactly. All right, topping it down. What do you plan to do this round?
I think I've got to continue taking down this guy.
Do I want to just blow through all my spells right now? I don't think I do. I'm going to just rush in as well.
You're going to attempt to get the one that's wearing the owl necklace? The other one?
Yeah, I'm gonna join Halifax against him.
Okay, so he's going to try to move. So they're basically he's going to try to move sideways away from his companion so that he can breach the silence. And yeah, he's going to try to breach the silence, and then actually he's just going to try to do that. He's just trying to get out and reset himself. The other one is engaged with Halifax. He's going to attempt to do.
Oh, I thought he died. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. For some reason, I thought okay. I'm sorry.
Nobody died.
I was very out of a. I don't know what I.
So you're doing something
talked
different?
About him going silently. I thought he got cleft. I was like, wow. I think rather than charging in, then I would next cast. I mean, frankly, hold person because I have it. Why wouldn't I cast hold person on the guy? I mean, I know you just said he was going to try to run away. I don't want him to feel cheesy, but I mean that is what I would do. Is that cool? I'm gonna.
On who? Which one?
On the guy with the necklace, right?
On the one that is on the owl guy. So the one that is not engaged with owl.
Okay, all right, cool, yeah. All right, so that guy's going to step outside the ring of silence. Okay, the other one who is engaged with Halifax, he is going to attempt to withdraw. So he's going to do like a fighting withdrawal, which will get him out of the silence as well, and not leave him open to attack by you, Halifax. But he has to declare that first as moving within melee, so that he is locked into that. He cannot change that no matter what happens with initiative. Okay, understand? All right.
But if my intention is to attack him,
yep.
Or I wouldn't know that he's planning on leaving, or
you might. So, but now it depends on what happens with initiative.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Okay. We have to see what happens with initiative.
All right, roll it, Halifax.
Okay.
Let's see it.
Oh, that's a 3.
Ugh, I got a 1 again. The dice are not with me, so that's you guys.
Oh my god, they're so cute. Get our first place.
Hey, Halifax, if we survive this, we want to ditch these 2 other scrubs and just go on a duo adventure.
Okay, so there's nothing happens on move and missile with you guys, but they, I think, so this is where there's an issue. You see how this works out now? You guys didn't move or do missiles, but they are moving, right? So this is where, even though you won initiative, this actually affects you badly because of what they chose to do, right? So the owl one basically is going to step outside the ring of silence. Okay, so he's further away from his friend right now. The one that is engaged with Halifax, the one with the clay mask, actually does a fighting withdrawal and moves backwards, even further away from his other friend, away from you, Halifax, and outside the ring of silence. So now they're both free, but they can't cast spells because that takes the entire round. Do you understand? Okay, so then you guys win it. You guys have won initiative, and you guys get to do your spell casting and then your melee. But because they were able to move first, Halifax, you can no longer attack. Understand?
Well, why wouldn't he declare a move that says, I follow him when he tries to withdraw or something like that?
Yeah, because couldn't he always withdraw then? Yeah, that's interesting.
If
then he'll never be able to attack.
When we've done fighting withdrawals before, it like lowers your AC or something.
No, that's a full retreat. But yeah, I see what you mean. How would that work?
I thought the withdrawal kind of thing worked if you won initiative. But if you lost initiative, you were caught, basically.
Trying to kind of think about how it would play out. All right, I got to think about it some more. We'll just go back to the original way of doing it, but I still want to declare actions at the top of the round. So we'll go with start at the top again. So you guys would move and then missile, but there is nothing. And then it would be your guys' turn to do magic. Okay, so they're still silenced. So you can do hold person on the guy. So go ahead and do hold person.
Okay. Save versus spell.
Save versus spell.
Saving throw is penalized by -2 if on an individual. If it's against a group, it's 1d4 individuals in the group targeted. Similar situation, guys. I can have a much higher likelihood of freezing one, or I can try to freeze both. Probably just do the one.
I'd say
I'm gonna go for the owl guy. Yeah. I'll go for the owl guy. He's going to have a -2 to his save.
Okay, got it. I'm pretty sure that's a fail. Yes, that is a fail.
Amazing. Paralyzed. Yeah.
Well, don't sound so happy about it.
Oh, I'm thrilled.
What does it do about it?
The spell causes one or more humans, demons, or human-like monsters to be paralyzed if they fail a saving throw versus spell. It may be cast in 2 ways, against the individual, like I just said, or a group. I did the individual. He failed, so he's paralyzed. I don't know. I have to look up paralysis, I guess. Specifics? I mean,
No. That's fine. I'm just looking.
Yeah.
Okay. Checking. Interesting. Human-like monsters of greater than 4+1 hit dice. And undead.
So monsters of greater and undead are not affected. But it does not say humans of greater than 4+1.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It says monsters.
Interesting. Okay. Right. All right. So you cast the prayer of Saint Waylain, which you prayed for with the vicar earlier this morning. And as it's attempting to sidle forward, you it just and it just stops for a second, still silent. So now it's silent and paralyzed at the same time. Very cool. And then Halifax.
That's 9 turns, Halifax. Just FYI.
9 turns.
9 turns. Jesus. Okay, Halifax. It's your turn.
9 rounds, man. That's 9 turns. That's like 90 minutes.
Yes.
Halifax.
All right, I'm going to take another swing with my sword.
Wow.
That is I rolled a 12 plus 2, 14.
Is a hit.
Yes. Wow. Nice. I will roll the d8. Oh, that's just a 1. So that's a 2 total.
2. Okay.
3.
3. Yes.
Strength and your sword.
Plus 2. Okay.
3. Okay, so you slice into him again silently. He screams out in pain. He's still standing, though, stumbling upon one leg. At the bottom of the round, that guy is going to retreat backwards, scrambling backwards as fast as he can out of the ring. The other one is held. Top of the round, what are you guys going to do?
Halifax, up to you. The guy who's held. What is the AC ruling with like coup de grace when someone's paralyzed? Do you just get an auto crit like in other editions?
You can just end him right now if you want.
Yeah, so you could just kill the guy who's held right now if you wanted to.
You could just kill the guy who's held right now.
Oh, I guess I could. That's true. Okay,
could.
yeah, okay. Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to trance up to the guy and give him a big smile.
Yeah, and I'm going to run up to the other.
And I'm going to kind of like do a revelator in front of his forehead and just sort of
We gave him a chance.
bash his head in, I guess.
That's rough. That's rough, brother. Damn.
When he pulls out a knife with a blade that big.
I see.
Well, so if I could carry a blade, I certainly.
Wow, the mercy of the Lord. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to.
I mean, what I do. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to pursue the guy who's running away to make sure that he can't cast. So run up to him so that he's in my zone of silence and continue my assault.
Okay, cool. So that one, now that he is out of silence, is going to attempt to, if he possibly can, he is going to cast the equivalent of casting a spell, but it's a little bit different. He holds up a finger. He's about to do something. Okay, roll initiative, please.
This is a good one to win. I would like to win this one, please.
Yes. Come on. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, 2.
Okay, so he, as you're running up as fast as you can to get that silence enveloping him again, he unfortunately is able to. He actually traces some sort of weird arcane green sigil in the air, just goes just like that in the air, and as he does so, invisibility just sort of courses up his finger. Up his arm, I mean, and then over his entire body as he sort of fades out of existence, leaving only the sigil traced in the air. And then it sort of tinkles to the ground like pixie dust. It disappears.
Oh, we're fucked if this guy gets his buddies. Oh no.
Okay, so
Movement-wise.
We don't have anything identifiable about us. This is going to be fine.
it's your turn if you want to do anything. You've got the only target you have is that, or you end that guy, right?
I end my guy. Yeah. Halifax, he's moved already, so he's invisible, but he's not moving again. So you know that kind of where he's at.
I'm going to
I don't know.
still run up there and take my swing to where he was, just in case he's.
Okay, go ahead.
But there, I mean, he was bleeding. Is there still like blood there and stuff?
There's blood on the ground. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna swing where he was. Run up and swing where he was.
Okay.
With 17 total.
Okay, so you swing wildly in frustration where he was last standing, but unfortunately your blade does not find purchase.
Okay.
All right. So in the meantime, Gwillem, you end him with what? Like what are you wielding?
I mean, I have a staff.
A staff. Okay, so you basically bash his brain.
Unfortunately, I don't have the cooking pot. I couldn't just frying pan him in the head, which would have been truly poetic.
Right.
I mean, alternatively, I could I don't know. I could choke him to death.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to know for flavor purposes what you're killing him with, what you're committing.
I mean, when in my most Warhammer way, wanted to have my hand glow and just clasp his neck and sort of crush it. You
Nice.
know what I mean?
Wow, damn.
I'm thinking you choke him with prayer beads, And
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so you end his life basically, and you'll never forget now, Gwillem, as you end his life of his eyes staring hatred up at you in his paralyzed form, as you take it from him, and you could it's like 1,000 curses over 1,000 lifetimes being put onto you as it slowly dies out. The other one does not return. In the meantime, back within the rain curtain and at the obelisk itself, as you finish up your studies there, Alfric, the lightning comes even more rapidly at a certain point, and almost like in a dramatic fashion. As soon as you're like, okay, I've got it, there's like a big, crashes into the obelisk, and like a huge chunk goes flying out and almost whips by your face, the both of you guys, and it's like, you can smell the ozone, right? It's like it's like way too close for comfort.
Let's get that chunk.
That's genius, Ted. I love that.
Yeah, let's get the chunk.
Alfric's Argus will track it as it, when he sees it land, he wants to go try and grab it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's like a little fist-sized chunk of black stone with some
All right.
silver veins.
I was gonna say take the time to transcribe the Drunic runes, but it doesn't sound like we really got that kind of. Let's get out while we're ahead here.
Okay, so as you're retreating back, you're not quite sure why everything's turned so violent with the weather all of a sudden, but just as you're about to step back out into the clear forest, Alfric and Argus, Alfric, the moaning and the crying of the babes, right, of that whole thing, they actually become distinguishable at a point, right? They actually merge into one. Like one long wail, and then it becomes a voice, and it just says "trespassers" as you step back out into the forest.
Interesting. So maybe an alarm system that a drone could understand.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Then it returns. To that wailing and.
What do they see what is happening right when they come out of the rain?
Well, you
Halifax teabagging a dead drone, and what the hell?
No, I'm pulling that dagger out of the elf's throat and picking up the cool lance.
Okay.
Do we want to
Search the bodies, right? I don't have to tell you that, right? This is Murder Hobo 101.
No, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not feeling great about the fact the other guy fled and could.
Yeah, I want to go away fast.
We should do a quick work of searching, and we should, if I'm honest, because I'm not certain he won't track us, we should try to if we're going back to the wagon, do it in a circumspect kind of way. If that makes sense.
Yep.
Is it okay?
No. Well, we still have to explore the rest of the hacks, right?
Hmm.
Oh, I don't know.
It is only like lunchtime or something, right?
Around then, yeah.
We've been there an
It's
hour.
about like
Afternoon now.
1 or 2 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we don't go right back to the wagon.
John, how nice does this elven armor look?
It looks very nice. It's it's like a weird yellow metal. Like it doesn't look like gold, like burnished gold, but it's like a yellow. The skin of the elf looks more golden than the armor itself, which appears to be some sort of weird foreign yellow metal. But it is like the armor of the elves in like the prologue of the Lord of the Rings movies, right? Like very form fitting, obviously of a different culture. So should you don it, you would very much stand out. You know what I mean?
People would think you were an elf and try to kill you, probably.
Yeah.
Well,
It's got to be pretty valuable.
You can do it. It's fine, but you would even if you're not a particularly pious person, like everyone sort of knows the 10 Commandments, right? You also know the mandates, in the 7th of which is thou shalt not truck with the Fae. So depending on who you talk to and show that armor around to, you never know.
Well, so we have a very quick decision in terms of, do we want to leave this heavy? Well, it's elven. He picks it. Is it really heavy? Like, would this be like cumbersome to drag this body?
Yeah.
Or is it light because he's an elf?
It's lighter than what he appears to be, right? But he's still, still a solid form. It's heavy.
Anything in his pockets?
He does have what appears to be some gold in his pockets, which does appear to be of typical of the realm. Let's roll for it here. Let's see. We'll roll.
You guys want me to track treasure on that same spreadsheet?
Yep.
Yeah, probably.
He's wearing 44 gold pieces. He has that lance, and also appears to have a leaf-bladed dagger as well, which is of obvious fairy make. The lance as well is obviously similar to the armor, unmistakable as of fairy origin.
Would you say it was 40 gold pieces?
44.
40,
Yeah.
40.
And he had a dagger in his neck, right? Was that a drunish dagger?
Mm-hmm. That he sure did.
Taking that, right? Take the dagger, the gold, the other dagger.
And I'm gonna search the Druid corpse of the guy I killed.
Yeah. I want that plate. I want that armor, but I think it would slow us down too much with that one guy vanished.
I'm worried that getting it off the elf will take a
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let's.
They just take the whole body if you're going to do it, and then we just sell his liver and his Mosselmer.
I say we leave him and the armor, but maybe take the helmet.
I'll take his helmet. Sure.
And the lance and the dagger.
Oh yeah, definitely the lance and the 2 daggers and the gold.
And you heard John, you're not going to be able to use those, man, because
we can sell them.
Okay,
so the Drune has this staff that has Drunic runes carved on it.
Would you call it a Drune staff?
Perhaps, or the staff of a Drune.
Right.
He is also carrying. He is around his neck, underneath his cloak. He had a golden torque that was worth 150 gold.
Ooh.
Cool.
And he is also carrying in a pack at his side what appears to be a set of ancient texts.
Yoink. Now, did we kill the wizard or did we kill the cleric? That's the question, isn't it?
Well, I'm gonna take a look at those texts
Well, why don't we take a look at those texts after
in the wagon. So let's grab them. And there's no such thing as like a more thorough patting down, right? Like you're telling us anything they could possibly have.
Yeah. I'm not trying to hide anything from you.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So let's grab that. We'll give these guys kind of a quick review of what just went down, and the fact that we are now in a hot war with the Druun and possibly the elves as well, who have either returned or who knows. Yeah. So, also, was the elf stalking us, and then the Druun found the elf, thinking that was the reason? I mean, like, why was the elf there?
Something else that we should probably pass on to you guys. Right before we left the glade, a large voice I heard, I don't know if he heard it, said trespassers. So I have a feeling that more than just the guys you encountered in the woods know we're here.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So and
So
to punctuate that, as you leave, you see that in the cloud covered glade, as it kind of disappears behind you, you can see like lightning is basically striking constantly within now, like just as if something has been angered and is not happy at all.
All right, so let's do kind of like a weird zigzaggy trip
Serpentine.
back. Serpentine.
How long does that silence? How long does that
let's finish
silence
it for
spell
next.
last? Sorry.
The silent spell lasts for I don't know. I have to look it back up actually. 12 turns.
You probably
So I can dispel it because we wouldn't be talking.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you make it back to camp. You guys are all fine, actually. You're wet and sodden, but you're all okay. But you've experienced something and may have stirred up something pretty bad. So
we had talked about not going straight back to camp, but continuing to explore the hex sort of in a zigzag fashion and working our way around back to the camp.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
rather than leaving a trail right back to our wagon.
Regardless, that appears to be the only thing of interest within the hex, but that seems to be plenty. Okay. It's a hex dominated by a dolmen.
I also don't know that we necessarily want to stay in the woods overnight, guys. It might be worth
Get out of here.
Yeah.
That was
Even
awesome.
if we have to do like a forced march or something like that, we should get the hell out of here.
Oh yeah,
we only traveled a couple hours out of town.
Okay, so
I will say this: if indeed they saw us go back to the wagon, we have the most identifiable thing we could possibly have for anyone who's trying to hunt us down for revenge.
You should have taken their heads, and we could have started mounting heads on the wagon or something.
Okay, so
Cool.
this is probably a good place to end it. Do you when you're back to the wagon, do you plan to sort of jaunt out again from that point and on foot and go somewhere else, or do you plan to go back to Prigwort or up to Harrow Keep? You're basically like halfway in between each.
Harrow might be safer, y'all.
You go to Harrow?
I mean, no, let's go to Prigwort. Why wouldn't we go to Prigwort and like do the stuff we do in between sessions? I guess.
Or you can continue on foot and go to an adjoining hex or something like that, you know.
I'm down to keep exploring as a player. I don't know how safe you guys feel, so that's up to you.
Well, yeah, it's late. Why don't we decide online and?
That's fine. We can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would just make the option that we should go to Prigwort tonight, and then maybe go to a whole different area.
Let's just go to Prigwort tonight. Let's keep it simple.
Like down there, I also I wouldn't mind being down closer to the Abbey of St. Key, because I need to talk to that guy, and I'll fill you guys in on everything that Hot Dead Girl said to me.
Hot Dead Girl. Okay.
I don't remember that. I don't remember the hot part.
Oh no, you gotta look with more than your eyes.
That's right.
Man.
That's right. Exactly. You see things, the things that Alfric only can see. All right, sounds good. All right, so we'll just consider that you guys you make it back to Prigwort without much of an issue by the end of the day, and we'll take care of logistics sort of stuff offline, and we'll pick it up again with your decision upon where you'd like to go next time out of Prigwort. So excellent session, guys. Thanks you very much. You have opened up a whole bunch of new doors. We'll see where that takes you. Druun slaughterers. All right, sounds good. All right, thanks, guys. Don't forget, everyone, thank you for watching once again, and don't forget to like and subscribe as usual, and we will see you all next time. Oh, and one last announcement before we go. If you haven't heard, all of our episodes now are available in audio-only format on all major podcasting platforms. So the link link is in the YouTube banner. It's on anchor.fm, and that will lead you to any of your favorite podcasting platforms where you can listen to us on your morning commute. And that'll do it. So otherwise, like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Yep. Play like you have more than 4 hit points.